If you saw my video about Villarreal Nebraska Academy, you met Jorge Sambataro, the director of coaching. I spent the morning touring the facility and learning about coaching from Jorge. Hope you enjoy the interview.
Well, I'm old, and I think the first gift that any kid is provided if you're a boy in Argentina, which is where I'm from, is a soccer ball. So I've been playing since I was a kid, grew up playing in the neighborhoods. I had to work very hard to be any good because everybody was good, and I was a little distracted when I was younger. I was more into other things, creative things, music, and distracted until one day I really got bit by the soccer bug, and then I took it very serious and I made it my goal to play professionally, and I got the chance to move around, play around. Never made it to a big time team, but I was in the town academy, which is a semi-pro team there. Saladillo. Yeah, we say Saladillo, but yeah.
Okay.
So we have a World Cup champion that's from there, Julio Jorge Olarticoechea. He's a friend of the family too, and so I grew up surrounded by that and picking his brains, and to the day we speak, and whenever I have a chance I say hello. He's now retired from coaching and everything, but yeah, I learned a lot from him. Ever since I was young, I like sharing, so I didn't mind giving away whatever I had, or whether that was knowledge or a toy or food. So at one point I realized that I had maybe a gift to share. I believe that everything we do in life is from a selfish act. It makes us feel good, and that's why we do things. It made me feel good to see other people improve on things, such as technique or later on tactics and so on. So once I got injured seriously, and I was getting old, and I realized that I was never going to make that first team and make the big bucks. And I had traveled around Europe, Asia, South America, and the United States, trying to make it, and made it to certain levels, respectable enough. I mean, the bottleneck gets smaller and smaller as you get closer to the elite. Well, once I realized that, I realized I wanted to just really spend my time coaching and teaching. Part of the contracts that you have in certain teams that you play for, they already ask you to coach as well, because it helps make a little bit of extra money. The professional life out there is very, very, very hard for us players. So I got into that. I loved it, fell in love with it, and I started educating myself and taking courses at FA and other courses later on here and in Europe as well. And that's where it all happened. Eventually I ended up coaching college, went back to Argentina, got to work with a couple of professional teams out there, professional clubs, worked a lot of the private training sectors as well, where we got players that are now playing in different clubs around the world that we had something to do with. And I say we because it's always a group of people, it's not just one person that develops a player. Very happy. Like I said, I'm old, and when I was living in Argentina at the time, we were going through a philosophical divorce, if you will. We were leaving Menotti's philosophy and moving into Bilardo's philosophy, and they seem to be polar opposite in some ways. And that's when I really got intrigued, because everybody likes either black or white, and I understood that I think in life the extremes don't really help. You gotta find some sort of balance, and that's when I got intrigued and I started to realize that I started making my own opinions. At first I was like, yes, I like Menotti, then yes, I like Bilardo, and then I started realizing that I love them both. And then I started studying it more and more. Became a fan of different coaches, like obviously Bielsa and Gallardo and Bianchi, And now Bianchi and for Boca Juniors and Gallardo are completely opposite style of coaching and playing, and you got a lot of really good things to learn from both of them. And then of course Johan Cruyff, and I was mainly influenced by Menotti, and in fact that's what I'm trying to do a master's on right now with Menotti. So I really liked that playing style of possession based and total football and fun and enjoying the game and not having fear instilled in your everyday life and game. And I understood that the game itself is sort of a reflection of what life could be, right? And you could apply a lot of this to your everyday life. So early on, I realized that I don't want to have fear, and I don't want our kids to fear. And it's the only thing we don't allow here, it's fear. We allow everything else. We want our kids and encourage our kids to try new things, to try the move, to try the rainbow, to dribble inside your own box. Be a little bit responsible, but find out what your limitations are. And then from that, it's how you become smart, from making mistakes. It's not something that you can avoid. So we don't have a problem with failure. I believe we can fail our way to success if we learn from our failures. They can pretty much take on anything if they want to and if they choose to. And it's very challenging all the time. We are in a society, especially nowadays, that everything it's designed and deserving anymore. It's not about merits. It's more like seniority and deserving. Oh, you spend this much time doing this, here's a star. You deserve this. Oh, you're paying for this, then you deserve this. And I think it sends the wrong message to our society, because then they go on to the real world where you don't deserve anything. If you don't perform, you get fired. So at an early age here, we encourage our kids that it's not about deserving, it's about earning. You will earn everything that you work for, and you may not earn everything that you want, but you're getting that much closer to it. The only things that are guaranteed is that if you don't try, if you don't put effort into it, you're not going to get where you want to get to. But if you put everything that you're supposed to, you're going to get closer, or you might get it, but it doesn't guarantee that you will. And I think that in a nutshell is life, and it's provided through soccer. And I don't think we need to lie to our kids about it. We are an academy, and we try to find a place for everybody to play. So just because you want to be in the top team, because your friends are there, or because your parents want you to be there, doesn't necessarily help you develop as a player or as a person. And it sends you the wrong message. If you're not at this level yet, we don't need to place you there. We need to place you in a place where you can learn and compete and feel enough to learn and overcome those failures, so that you can move on. It's part of life. Yeah, I didn't know you saw that. Yes, we encourage our kids to read, to learn, to explore, and we came across that book a while ago, a lot of books, but that book in particular is sort of a lot of kids, when they read it, they, ironically, they would say, it's just like you wrote it, coach. They literally said that to me a couple of times, because even though it wasn't a book that I had read years ago, I read it later, I was saying the same things. I think that there's in the world there are people that think a certain way and they say certain things, and that's always been my mindset. I was never given anything other than love from my parents, but everything else I had to earn. I forgot to work on getting taller, so I stayed short. But other than that, everything else I've earned myself. Yeah, it's very dangerous, I think, to have a fixed mindset. But then again, I don't believe in extremes either, right? But I do believe that everybody has a chance if they work at things. I had everything going against me too, But then I found out that I was very fast, and that helped. But then I realized that it wasn't just about being fast, because I was fast, but so were other kids out there. And the difference is that I was small in comparison to other kids. And I was very strong, but I was getting hurt. And I had other kids that were stronger, bigger, taller, and faster. Not a lot, but yeah, there were some. And so I had to suddenly start exploring other ways of playing the game and learning. So you can still produce more things, and if you're provoked correctly, if you're exposed in an environment where it allows you to learn. You know, fear is a killer, I believe, and I was lucky enough at an early age to have both. The coach that said no, and the coach that said go, and then we'll figure it out. And I realized what I liked and what I didn't like. I realized what worked for me, and it doesn't necessarily mean that it works for everybody, but I've applied that, and we've had great results. Yes, that was one of the things that really attracted me about Villarreal. First of all, ironically enough, I was a fan of Villarreal at an earlier age, because being a Boca Juniors fan, I had a lot of players from my team that went and played for Villarreal, so I started following a team that I didn't know about because of the players that went there, and became a fan. And then when they approached me and we started talking, I realized that we had a lot in common. I already knew that them being a smaller club in a big pond, if you will, they had to develop a lot. So once I started finding out about their curriculum and their philosophy, I found out that we had a lot in common. Like our player type is someone who's autonomous, smart, good people. Their player type is someone who's autonomous, that knows the game and has values. We share, we have a lot of things in common. So
Same blueprint to find success.
Same blueprint. Yes. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jorge.